Strike for junior doctors in an escalation of their dispute with the government over paying conditions. Health leaders are warning that up to 250,000 appointments and operations could be postponed as a result. So let's hear a little bit more about it. Dr. Sumi Manirajan, did I say your name right? Apologies for that, from the BMA Junior Doctors Committee joins me now. Very good morning to you. Welcome. So a 4-day strike announced by the BMA. That's 96 hours where junior doctors will be walking out. Why do you think that's necessary?
So we have been communicating with the Health Secretary for over 6 months now. Our dispute began in August last year, where we were asking the Health Secretary to meet us and negotiate with us on the concerns that we have. Unfortunately, it's taken a ballot and actually 72 hours to bring him to the table with a mandate. When he did finally meet with us this week, he didn't actually have an offer to put to us, and that's led to the breakdown in communication, and now we've had to call for another set of strikes to bring him back to the table to negotiate.
Well, yes, the Department of Health says that you, the BMA, placed a precondition on the talks of a 35% pay rise. Is that right?
So the BMA haven't actually put down any preconditions. We're willing to negotiate. Our doors are always open. The Health Secretary asked us to meet with him and set some preconditions. However, in the room, produced another list of preconditions they want us to meet before we could go ahead with the talks. Unfortunately, what actually broke down the communication was the fact that he didn't actually come to the table with an offer. We have given him our opening offer, which is 35%, based on the amount of money that we've lost since 2008.
You want 35%, but you're saying that wasn't a precondition for talks?
Correct. It wasn't a precondition. It's an opening offer. We're willing to negotiate, but he didn't have a counter-offer.
OK, well, 35%, Steve Barclay has said that that's unreasonable, and that is 7 times the rise that nurses and paramedics have agreed to. Is it that junior doctors think that they're worth that much more than their colleagues in the NHS?
So I believe, and the BMA believes, that all workers are paid, should be paid what they're worth. Now, that means that I believe in pay restoration. So no worker is worth less than they were before. And I believe that trade unions should be fighting for their members. The BMA is asking for 35% because we have lost 26% of our pay since 2008. It will take a 35% uplift to bring that back to net zero. And it's really important that we address this concern now, because we're already 9,000 doctors down in the UK, and that number is only set to increase, and the workforce crisis is only set to get worse.
But 35%, a lot of people watching will say, that feels like that's never going to happen. I mean, you say you're open to negotiation. How far are you prepared to negotiate?
So this is our opening offer, and the reason it's so high is because we've lost so much. You have to appreciate this is in the landscape of what's actually happening in the NHS at the moment. Staff are fleeing to other countries, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, because it's not sustainable to be a doctor here, and they're being offered better elsewhere. Now, we've got a 7.2 million long waiting list that the government need to address. They can't do this without doctors and healthcare workers, and it's imperative that they meet with us and negotiate in good faith.
The waiting list will get worse, though, as a result of strikes, won't they? You've called 4 days of strikes. Why have you chosen the particular dates that you have in April?
So we have chosen 4 dates, and this is an escalation of the 3 dates that we did previously in March. The reason that we've escalated is because the government refused to negotiate with us, and this is completely within the government's right to call off the strikes if they offer us pay restoration. Now, what we want them to do is come to the table, and we're willing to negotiate at any point. Our doors are open at any time to negotiate, regardless of whether strikes are on the table or not, and we want them to come and counter the offer that we've made, so that we can actually make progress on this and come to a solution.
But I'm interested to know why you've chosen these particular dates, because they do come after a bank holiday weekend, Easter weekend, a 4-day weekend where there will be reduced junior doctor cover, then 4 days of strikes followed by another weekend. I mean, this is going to cause huge disruption to patients, isn't it? Is that why you've chosen those dates?
So what can happen during these periods of time is that healthcare trusts can provide extra staffing to bolster on either side of the dates to ensure that actually patient care is being delivered. And we've demonstrated through our 72-hour strike action that actually junior doctors being withdrawn from care doesn't cause safety issues. There wasn't a single derogation request during those 72 hours, which shows that actually this is safe and we are providing patients the care that they need, especially with emergency care, where expert clinicians, consultants and SAS doctors are stepping down and we're very grateful for them for doing so to provide patient care.
However, 175,000 appointments and operations cancelled in the last strike, which was 3 days. So that reassurance about safety, obviously important, but it's not going to be much comfort to those people who risk having operations and appointments cancelled again in April.
Of course, and I'm extremely sorry that it's come to this. I want the government to negotiate with us. The strikes don't have to go ahead. The government can come to the table and negotiate with us in good faith, and we can prevent this from happening. And I know that there are going to be thousands of patients waiting at home, waiting for knee replacements, waiting for essential operations in pain, and I really want to apologise to them because they have pushed us to this, the government have.
Do you feel hopeful, though, that a deal can be struck? You've seen deals negotiated by your colleagues in the NHS. Does that give you hope that a deal can be done with junior doctors too?
100%. We are willing to negotiate. Our doors are open. We want to come to a solution. And the sooner we do, the better for everyone.
OK, Dr. Sumi Manirajan, thank you very much indeed for coming in and talking to us from the BMA. Thank you.
Thank you.